Bin Gordon were questioned by MPs on how the debt relief will help end load shedding. The company says while the debt relief will help ease the pressure, the next 6 months will be challenging for the country. But the utility says for the first time in 6 years, it will be able to release funds for capital expenditure for generation, transmission and distribution because of the debt relief. It says this will allow it to focus on reducing unplanned outages and load shedding. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News.
Ekurhuleni Mayor Andisiwe Mgcoyi says the Metro will release municipal-owned land to new business owners and townships. Speaking at his first State of the City address today, Mgcoyi said this is part of the city's spatial, social and economic justice impact. Thabiso Goba has more.
Ekurhuleni Executive Mayor Andisiwe Mgcoyi says not much has been done to address the inequality caused by the country's past. He says for the township economy to thrive, local government needs to do its part in lessening the overhead expenses for current and prospective business owners. He says free and subsidized land is one of the ways the municipality can achieve that.
This should include the creation of a platform for flea market in the township to promote the sale of local produce brand.
Mgcoyi says over the next weeks, the municipality will be communicating how residents can apply for this program. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Ekurhuleni.
And the ANC says while it is faced with a diplomatic nightmare over the arrest warrant issued against Russian President Vladimir Putin by the International Criminal Court, it is still dealing with the matter. With South Africa hosting the next BRICS summit in the coming months, it is bound by law to arrest Putin due to our country being a signatory to the Rome Statute. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says government has been instructed to look at the pros and cons of the arrest warrant and come up with a decision. A look at your weather. Partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 10 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria is at 11 to 27 degrees. Vereeniging is at 6 to 26 degrees as well. Mikey Malapo, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
He can wrestle. He can style. He can profile. He can woo the lady. And last but not least, he's got class.
Changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the world.
With MSW.
Hey, Robert, you know, Kaizer Chiefs fans have been saying, hey, Chiefs is flame, Chiefs is flame, Chiefs is ashes. Robert, Chiefs is flame without the F. Yeah, the F is silent on flame me up. Ask Kukune United, they will tell you, the F is silent to flame me up.
I think, Rob, we know of the relationship and we know that the PSL doesn't like to take instructions from the mother body, even though the mother body is the ruling party. I haven't heard of the PSL not arriving at a Congress before.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
And as we gather with 136 days left until the Rugby World Cup, we're sitting with 122 days before the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup. The Netball World Cup is in exactly 94 days' time. FIFA Women's World Cup is in 85 days. I don't know if our next guest, should she be at the World Cup? Yeah, that's the big question. It's such a big question, the lights decide to go off. But I'm going to chat to Eskom to make sure that they come back in a second so that we deliberate properly in and around this conversation. 0607080484. We do have Gavin Hunt, the coach of Supersport United, coming up a little bit later on at the bottom of the hour. But right now you're listening to 947. Also live on Vuma FM, Sowetan Live, as well as Rise FM, wherever you are around the country, the continent, or the world. It is an interactive show. It's also a day where we've seen earlier today the champions of the DStv Premiership, Mamelodi Sundowns, having taken on Richards Bay. An afternoon game, 1500 kickoff, Tapela Morena in the 25th minute, putting pay to Richards Bay. So all they got to do, Mamelodi Sundowns, is just keep clocking in the points, seeing if they can get to the 70s or above. 3 games to go till the end of the season, so 65 points that they do have. Gavin Hunt's Supersport United sitting on 47 points. We're also live on YouTube, so you can watch, comment, and while you're driving, you'll be listening on the radio. So whichever one of the platforms favor you, make sure that you do switch on as well. I see such... can't even describe her properly. That is how much greatness she enjoys and still has within her. She's one of those players who got to play abroad way back when seeing Banyana players going outside was pretty unheard of. What a remarkable talent. I mean, a beacon of hope for many young female talents, a scorer of breathtakingly beautiful goals, and now venturing into coaching. And she's just returned from Portugal. And she is, well, will tell us all about that trip. Andisiwe Mgcoyi is here, my guest, and what an absolute honor to have her back here. Andisiwe, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Robs.
How was Portugal?
It was good, yeah. To be honest.
Was it one of those trips?
Yeah, and the environment, yeah, it was nice. I think it was more nice because Benghamba Nabantwan, so it was all about them, not me. Seeing them happy kutibase overseas, and 95% of them bebaqalukuya abroad, not even Durban, overseas. So they were very happy. So that's what makes me happy.
And I was just talking about how you managed to go play overseas way before we even thought about any of the female players going to ply their trade there. So you've been a trendsetter as far as that is concerned. What does that mean to you?
I think it's something that because when I started playing football at the age of 7 years, I've never thought of playing for Banyana or like team around. I've been wanting to play overseas, and I always have that belief it doesn't matter because we, especially with football, we all started and then so when I get that opportunity overseas, like I knew it I'm going far with it. And for the fact to first year I experienced the Champions League, so
that was big, though. I mean, just take us through the countries, because if I just say you went overseas, people might think, we're just talking about one country, and yet that isn't the case. I mean, you played for a number of teams in Europe. In fact, you played for 10 European sides. You had 4 league titles, and you participated in 3 of the Women's Champions League, matches that were there, and that in itself is already something groundbreaking as a whole. Let's track back a little bit. Who was it that spearheaded your trip or your first trip into Europe? Because there's got to be that one person, either a scout, a coach, who said, we need you to come and expand your game.
Yeah, the guy owns Europe, like, it was a Nigerian guy. I served in a team called Cruisers. It plays in the Sasol League. So I knew the coach, the late coach of Cruisers. So when I moved to Johannesburg, before I joined Mamelodi Sundowns, I used to train with Cruisers. So that guy, it was kind of like a manager, Cruisers. So young Jelly Guti, kune team Slovakia, ifuna a striker and essentially like tall physiques, and I was like, I don't even know the country, and So basi 3. So yeah. And I was like, masi 3. Imagine it's my first trip to abroad, and they were giving me 3 years contract. And maguna abantu at least some African. So kuzoba ngcono than ukuthi ngibe 1. So that guy, bekayi agent kahle ama player Crusaders. So yeah, that's what happened. I think it was 2013 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was 2013. But as much as you say that, you're able to score something like 25 goals, but not everything went well for you. Like you said, they offered you a 3-year contract, but you were not willing to take it because of the kind of treatment that you were given over there. So it bothers me to think, why would they treat somebody who was a superstar, somebody who was converting as many goals as you were converting, and be treated in such a bad way? How do you break it down? How do you explain it to us in simple language?
When I get there, bekune striker sabo. So begana magula maning. So obviously, like overseas, my top goal scorer, utoli mali. And when I get there, so I remember she had like 10 goals or 12, if I remember. So I started banging goals, bang change of position. I play as a midfield, and I've never played midfielder before. Even if in low position, I was still scoring. Bang change, bang dalisa as a right wing. And I'm like, I've got speed, I can cross, I can cut in and score in Zoyen. So ingakora. So abafuna ukuthi like ngilingane naye because she's from abroad and I'm African.
Yeah.
So yeah, sadlala. And then it was bad. Like honestly, it was bad. But I'm one person or believer ukuthi like whatever happened, it happened for a reason, and I've got a strong heart. Ukuthi like ezinye izinto, I think Tina Africans, like South African, she's spoiled. That's why I'm a player zamaning angakhona manage abroad. They will always come back.
So then they're not tough.
Yes, they don't have that heart yokubegezela.
Yeah.
They always like giving up. I'm not a person who give up so easily. So I told myself it's fine. No matter ukuthi bangangitreata kanjani, but I'm not here for izinto eziningi. I'm here to play football and move to another country.
So that was in Kosovo, though, and yet you were achieving so much with them and with the club. I believe even at the time they started to offer you citizenship, to stay permanently in Kosovo. You turned that down.
Kahle umuntu bebamfuna kakhulu. It was Zanele Nhlapho.
Yeah.
So mina bebangfuna just because of they want to mazet, because we were treating each other like sisters, and we told them that we are sisters. So they knew ukuthi angeke ba separate.
Yeah.
So at Kosovo it was even worse. When we won the league, masibajela ukuthi we're not coming back, they started not paying us.
They still owe you a bonus, I believe.
Yes, because a day before we travel, we play a tournament. And I remember on that tournament, they were trying to punish me. They put me on the bench. So, and I was like, Mazet, nizodliwa. Because so like the score was 0-0, and that tournament they always winning. But on that year, league yakhona like iba tough, so mabasakon. So the score was 0-0 first half. And then my second half, I was the president, like from the grandstand, Andy. I was like, oh, okay, they still remember me. Because I was being quite serious, because the way we were treating it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
So then I
So the president of the club was
the
shouting.
President, yes. He was on the grandstand, like just up next to the bench, and then he was calling the coach. We understood the language because it was similar with Albania.
Okay.
So some zakwaza ati fall Andy. I was like, and on that day I was not even dressed because bengazi ukuthi angeke bangidlalisa. So I decided ukuthi ngizogcoka i-track suit.
Oh.
So I was sitting on the bench wearing track suit. I had to run to the changing room, Mgcoyi kitty food, and then I scored 2 goals. I created 2 goals. So win, we celebrate. So on that night, they were supposed to give us that bonus for the tournament, and the money they was over for illegal. Because after we told them, we're not coming back, isn't as available about worse.
But I think you're being humble, because after the president called for you to go on and they put you on, you came on. Yes, you scored 2 goals. Yes, you created 2 goals, but the final score was 10-0. Based on your contribution as well. So it wasn't just a minor thing. A major shift had happened in that second half, and it was purely because of your inclusion, which is something that I can't understand. So by withholding your bonuses and everything else, was that almost like a threat to you to say you will have to stay because we know how much you need this money, and without having this money, you're not going to go anywhere?
Yeah, bebasitreatisha kanjalo basitshela ukuthi angeke basinikeze ama-paperweight if you want to join a team, like if we want to go back to Sundowns, we need that clearance letter from that team besidlalela. So they started to telling us ukuthi a contract akakapheli in and ukuthi like besazi ukuthi bona bacabanga ukuthi bahlakaniphile, but they were not, because batshelile ukuthi sawazi ama-rules we-FIFA. So if they rather bangasibhadali basinikeza ama-paper wethu, because right now like we want to go back home and play football. So imali asiyonkinga anymore, even though it was a lot of money, to be honest. It was a lot. Ibinokwenza net different masifika la ekhaya, but we decided to let it go.
And it was in US dollars,
yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So with the exchange rate, it could have been a lot. And you've said how disappointed you are in what women's football has given you, because with all of those years that you spent in Europe, coming back, playing, CAF Champions League, playing for a top team in Sundowns, you're even saying that you're still renting a house. You talked about not owning a home, and basically, in a nutshell, saying that the game has not paid off as much as you would ever have hoped for. If it was any other professional football player, namely so men. Why is that the case, though?
Robs, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. When we look back, we are not the one about experiencing your situation there. When you look back, like Abo Poshia, they're crying for the same thing. Abo Veronica Pewa, they're out there. Asazuguti Benzani. So for me, na personal, I feel like it's something that we cannot change, but we can only do it for the next generation. We experience a lentole from Abu Poshia, so the next generation, they cannot experience Latin. And I believe we could see if ingaqala ki banyana and then nakuma club izobanjalo. Maybe at Sundowns we can get it, because Tina, like, to be honest, bastrita kahle. So asazi isikhathi masesihamba or masiya ke club World Cup. Singayithola singalingana nabafana.
Yeah, I think the Club World Cup is certainly one of the things Coach Jerry was talking about here. Talking deep in his heart, because you know how passionate he is, and he wants to break records. He wants to be where people haven't been before. He could probably want to be the first person to coach Sundowns to go to the moon. We never know with the coach at Jerry. After the break, we'll talk about, obviously a little bit about the trip to Portugal, which we've just handled now, but also the transition, juggling, coaching, and also playing football for Sundowns Ladies. To take us through that, she's been going, for her coaching badges, the experience that she also had being at the World Cup in Qatar. That was part of the prize that she had won, man. Part of the prize. These are meaningful prizes. When somebody says you're a top goal scorer in a league, and part of that is a trip for you to go to a football World Cup in Qatar, there's no greater meaning and no greater sign of appreciation of football at the highest level. So she has had that experience, which I really think is a good one. And big up, I think Hyundai, Hollywood Bets, everybody that was involved in that trip happening really put their minds there to it. So lots to talk to her about after the break. And remember, later on, Gavin Hunt is also going to be my guest. 060 708 0404.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
Enjoy certainty in an uncertain world with BMW's 10.5% capped interest rate. If the interest rate decreases, so will your monthly payments. But if it increases, your interest rate will never exceed 10.5%. To enjoy this exclusive offer, purchase a new BMW 3 Series, X3 or X5. Visit your nearest BMW retailer to learn more. Offer from BMW Financial Services South Africa, Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Valid until 30 June 2023. Available on selected models and subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply.
Enjoy worry-free connectivity with this red-hot deal from Vodacom. Get the Alcatel H872V home router on a home internet plan with up to 10 megabit per second download speed for only 349 Rand per month over 36 months. Save 1,800 Rand. Plus, you get a free Volcano Mini UPS so you'll stay connected even when the power's off. Miss it, miss out. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
In my business, I was always told, look before you leap. I'm more like leap before you look, because if you spend too much time looking, you'll end up not leaping, and besides, the vantage point from the air is much better. So leap, man, leap.
Become a Sage customer like Miles and set up your business to fly with our helpful accounting, HR and payroll tools. Visit sage.com today. Sage, helping business flow.
For almost a century, Robertson's has been famous for flavor. Now it's your turn. Are you known for your flavors? Can you make an ordinary dish extraordinary with Robertson's spices? Then we want to make you famous for your flavor. We've already made 3 home cooks famous. You could be next. Go to whatsfordinner.co.za, follow the steps on the Robertson's tab, and you could win. You and Robertson's. Famous for flavor.
Monster Jam is back, featuring 8 of the world's best trucks and drivers, including Megalodon, Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, and more, competing in racing skills and freestyle competitions for the event championship. Plus, see freestyle motocross live. Monster Jam is full throttle family fun, coming to the FNB Stadium 29 April. Book your tickets now at showtime.co.za. Brought to you by McDonald's in association with Supersport and 947.
At Checkers, we're all about saving you more. That's why we bring you over 25 million Rand in savings daily on everything you want and need. Like Clover Crush 100% fruit juice blend 1.5 litre. Buy any 2 for 64 Rand. Dr. Utker Ital Classic frozen pizza, any 2 for only 85 Rand. And Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls 18 per pack for just 129.99. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers and Checkers Hyper.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Imshelele hayi siyangena-ke namhlanje kwi-MSW. Hey Robert, Kaizer Chiefs fans have been saying, hey, Chiefs is flame, Chiefs is flame, Chiefs is Robert, Chiefs is flame without the F. Yeah, the F is silent on Flame Up. Ask Kukune United, they will tell you, the F is silent with Flame Up. Any team, Robert, I flame with a silent F, God.
#MSW saying that Chiefs are flame with the silent F.
#MSW. #MSW. Marawa Sports Worldwide. This is 947. Music live. #MSW.
Evening, Rob and Andisiwe Mgcoyi. Rob, you're talking to one of the prolific goal poachers that we've ever produced in this country. Rob, I'll always remember Andisiwe as that player who provided the first assist that led to a goal in the WAF Women's Champions League final. And I think her name will also be remembered in the history books of that tournament. And I just want to find out from Andisiwe, because her story will also motivate other players. How did you deal with not being selected for Banyana when you were playing so well in your career? I just want to hear from you on that and wish you all the best in your coaching career. Tebogo,
thank you so much indeed. It was feared that question will come from me, and I'm glad that it's not coming from me. You not being selected when the entire nation thought you would be. It's got to be something to talk about? Why?
Honestly, I don't know. And
Emotional.
yeah. I don't know. As a player, I'm good to give the best grounding, and as a striker, my job is to score goals. So for me, not being selected, banyana, I don't know.
Do they talk to you? Do they tell you? Do they explain why you're being excluded?
Honestly, nothing. And sometimes it's painful when like people ask the coach about Andisiwe Mgcoyi, and then like Uzi isn't as negative instead of like positive one. But I always believe that in life you don't force things. If they want you, they will come to you. So as long as like hang my boots, I still have time to be there in the banyana. If uNkulunkulu afuna ngibe khona, I'll be there. Because angeke uyipredict life. I might be to the trip a World Cup. We don't know. So anything happen for a reason. Ukuthi angikho lapha ya leya team leya. So
but when we see and we watch the games and I talked before the break about going to Qatar. You got to be on that trip not because you played the lotto or anything. It was a reward for scoring 27 goals jointly in the Hollywood Bets Super League, which meant you were the top goal scorer. 3 goals shy of 30 goals, which is a major, major achievement. And winning games is about scoring goals. So if you're doing exactly that and you're top goal scoring, isn't that an indicator that you are one of the best that we have in the country? How do you read it?
As a player, like, angeke usho uthi you one of the best.
Yeah.
But people out there bayakhona ukubona umsebenzi engiwenzayo, and they always say that. So as ngishilo ukuthi like singabantu asibona ngokufana, to other people I can be one of the best player or striker, but to the coach angangaboni kanjalo. Hence like angicompare nabanye ama player ukuthi like now you play I'm a striker afana nam. But for me, na personal, I'm not being big-headed or ngiyazitshela, but the hard work that I put on the field of play and ne pushing engidlalayo, I always want to score goals because I'm a striker. So I score goals, and like there's only one Andisiwe Mgcoyi.
Yeah.
I get komunye. So Sanama World Cup azayo, probably. The next one, I'll be in the plane. Ayodlala World Cup. Or Club World Cup. We don't know.
Club World Cup can happen, I have no doubt. But I'm looking at a FIFA Women's World Cup that's in 85 days from today. Realistically, do you believe you'll be on that flight?
Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Even if it can happen, number one, ngizobe ngikajeli nesa squad lesi side because they've been camping, and some of the players engadlala nabo grounding, they don't know my strongest point and my weakness. So like I won't combine with them because they've been together for a long time. So for me, maybe for me, if I like a grandstand or on the bench just to get that name, World Cup. Even though the world want me to go and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a strange one. It really is a strange one. maybe one of these days, and the thing is, she's very accountable. She comes into the studio. We'll be able to ask the coach, just for a bit more of a technical breakdown of why or why not. Not the fact that there's other capable players who can. Maybe the players who can are not used to the big occasion tournaments. You've been to the Olympics, you've played in CAF Champions League, you've played in Europe, you've played, over 10 teams in Europe. So you've got the hard steel to be able to face a World Cup. And you're only, 34 years old? That is nothing in football. That is nothing. When I look at the ages of so many of the other women that are playing for the big nations in this World Cup, 34 is nothing. So I hope you don't drop your head, but I also wish you everything of the best when it comes to the coaching side of things, because ultimately I see that is where your passion lies right now. And when that begins, we hope and pray you'll be able to come back and update us here on the show, on that journey. And I know that it's an emotional roller coaster for you. You're a human being, and I understand. But also understand that you've been a superhero for all of us here in South Africa based on what you do on the field. We've watched you grow. We've seen the tears of joy. We've seen the medals being draped around your neck when success has come through. But we've also seen the bitter disappointment when you haven't achieved your goals. So all I'm saying is that take it from me, on behalf of all South Africans listening, that you remain top of the food chain when it comes to SA football and also the women's game. You've set the trends, and you'll continue to set the trends. Don't let anything mentally or emotionally break you down. You're a strong sister, and we believe in you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, but it's okay. Andisiwe, I could chat to you the whole day, but you know what? I firmly believe in your talents, and all I got to say is keep your head up. Might not sound like Tupac, but hey, Andisiwe Mgcoyi, thank you very, very much, champ. Best of luck, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you or about you pretty soon. Be rest assured.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you very much, champ.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Times Live.co.za sports editor Mark Stradham. An important indaba and ordinary Congress this past weekend, but without the Premier Soccer League, how did that play itself out, Mark?
The PSL didn't arrive, but it seems to have been some of the things on the agenda that the PSL were not happy about. I think notably that SAFA were going to discuss imposing CAF club licensing and coaching qualifications on PSL coaches.
Has this ever happened before, as far as you're concerned, and as far back as you can think?
I think we know of the relationship, and we know that the PSL doesn't like to take instructions from the mother body, even though the mother body is the ruling party. I haven't heard of the PSL not arriving at a Congress before.
Tell me who's fooling who? #MSW. #MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Times Live.co.za sports editor Mark Stradham. An important indaba and ordinary Congress this past weekend, but without the Premier Soccer League, how did that play itself out, Mark?
The PSL didn't arrive, but it seems to have been some of the things on the agenda that the PSL were not happy about. I think notably that SAFA were going to discuss imposing CAF club licensing and coaching qualifications on PSL coaches.
Has this ever happened before, as far as you're concerned, and as far back as you can think?
I think we know of the relationship, and we know that the PSL doesn't like to take instructions from the mother body, even though the mother body is the ruling party. I haven't heard of the PSL not arriving at a Congress before.
Tell me who's fooling who? #MSW. #MSW.
You're live at 947 on Vuma FM, Rise FM, as well as on Sowetan Live. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Sure, quite an emotional one there. We had to rope in Coach Gavin Hunt to donate some tissues, man. Yeah, you gotta feel for her. But we do understand. And back at Supersport United, though, for a second stint, that's what this man has been all about. at the start of the season, and it must be said it's been a season of mixed results for this man. But hey, you look at the table, you look at where they are. Is he happy? I think he's aged more in previous years. I'm not too sure about this last year, but hey, that's football for you. A rather turbulent start to the campaign. Eventually the puzzle came together for this rather youthful Matsatsantsa squad. Because as we've come to know of this man, write him off at your own peril. He knows how to win. He also knows how to bring the best out of the lads, whether experienced or still young. I mean, Gavin Hunt is always hunting, believe it. And we've hunted him down again, this time around to review the first season since returning back to Pretoria. Coach Gavin Hunt, good evening. Good to see you, sir.
Hello, Rob. How are you?
I'm as strong as can be.
Jeez, fancy place you got here, mate. Jeez, like it. Yeah,
Eh?
yeah, mom.
Chalk and cheese, huh?
Yeah, no, jeez, like you've come a long way, Rob.
Thanks, Gav. Thanks, Gav. Welcome to the family.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Hey, we're proud of you. That's why we call you in here and we say, I remember frustrated Gavin coming back to Supersport United, and you were probably not getting the kind of players that you wanted. Hardly knew the players
Still
that were there.
No.
Pretty much youngsters that you had never really worked or seen before. But I look at the log table, that doesn't lie. I mean, we'll talk about the points difference, but just in terms of the position, how do you describe it up until now?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I came in knowing the situation. It's a totally different club to when I was there 10 years ago, whatever it was. I mean, it's a club that's certainly, well, the most, let me just say it straight. I mean, they cut the budget, cut everything. So we're running it on a very tight ship and a tight budget. So that was explained to me from the start. And I said, okay, let me accept the job. And we looked at the squad and was really, really depleted. It's a team that's always done well, but the team was certainly depleted last season, and for whatever reason, I don't know. So it was about trying to get players in and trying to get frees and loans and swap, and that's pretty much we've done. We haven't bought anybody this season, not one player. So it has been sort of get players out of contracts and try and build a team. So maybe the slow start had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
Trying to get, like a Naglovo in, and he came in, Lapasa came in much later, but Tyson came in, who's, and people like that got, and obviously Goss came in, and so that's pretty much what we've done. Put a team together and learning on our feet. There was no sort of time to experiment and chop and change, and just sort of take it game by game, and then try and get a way of playing that suits the players we've got, because you can't put square pegs in round holes. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say I want to play like this, but I haven't got the players. We need to do this and that. So it's been pretty much learning as we go along.
But also the good thing is, some of the players you talk about, no strangers to you, and you always almost peg your team around that experience, because you need it. Sometimes people dispel the,
I know what wins and I know what doesn't win, and I've experienced that. So I know how to win, what we need to do, what type of players we need. But I mean, we don't have a checkbook to buy 3-4 clubs have bought this year. They've spent a lot of money on their teams and bought a lot of players, and here we are, underdogs, and we're looking and trying to get a way of doing things that we can get a few results, and sometimes it's not pretty, but I mean, the most important thing is to get our club in a stable position, give our chance to get our younger players through, which we're doing. If you look at our club right now, I mean, it's the best club in the country. We've got a Diski team is the top of the league, and our first team second in the league. So, for what we've done, you got to commend Stan and the chairman, Mr. Kulisabir, and Graham, and all the guys, at the club, what they've done to keep this club afloat, and keep it to run it like it's been run. And
but does that say something though, when you find DDC with 3 games to go topping the table, and yourselves in the senior league, second to Sundowns, were just runaway champions?
Yeah, look, our DDC, if I looked at last year, they should have won it last year, and they blew up at the end. Their shame. And this year they've really got their act together, and they've done a great job. Roscoe and Tabo and everybody involved there with the club, and obviously they're very close to us. We train on the same fields. I work with them, and we talk every day and have meetings and what about football and about the team and that. So it's all flowing nicely. Now what we need to do is get our 19s closer, our 17s closer, which we've done. I've got people in with that I feel that we can help the club. Jabo Maleleka brought him into the 90s. It played for me. Davis Newcastle, I'm bringing him in now. So we're going to get more in that we can get this chain going through, because we're a club that has to do it differently. We cannot do it like our opposition clubs. We do it, So we'll try and do it differently.
Right, we come back from the break. Maybe we'll pick up on that, because you've had, over 2 players come through from the DDC as well, get promoted to the senior team. Whether is that the sort of chain that you would want to see continue long term, or you will try and squeeze the management, to bring in a big name or two? That we don't know, but we'll find out after this.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live. In 3, 2, 1. On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
It's thrilling, it's rewarding, it's Lotto Star's Real Rush Games. Feel a euphoric rush when you spin the wheels on Hot Fruit, Wealth Inn, Egyptian Dreams Deluxe, Hey Sushi, Santa's Village, Looney Blocks, and more. Slot your way to instant payouts of up to 2 million rand with our Real Rush Games. Lotto Star, your world of live games.
Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or trade in your car online? Go to www.motors.cars. That's MOTUS.cars. You will find thousands of new and used cars backed by more than 70 years of sales experience. The finance application process on our friendly website will ensure that you get the best deal from multiple banks. Visit us at www.motors.cars. Motors.cars. You click, we car.
The Galaxy S23 Ultra's 200 megapixel camera brings you wow-worthy resolution. So much resolution, in fact, that you'll be able to zoom, crop, scale, and print your images without losing any detail. Now that's epic. Buy any Galaxy S23 now and add the Galaxy Watch 5 from only 49 Rand per month. And get free Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, valued at 3,999. Galaxy S23 series. Share the epic. T's and C's apply.
The following advert is for a product that is not for sale to under 18s, is not risk-free, and contains nicotine, an addictive substance.
Hey, Joe. You know my girl says I can't smoke cigarettes this weekend because her parents are coming over.
Try vaping and switch to Views. There's no odor.
For real?
No tobacco.
Don't lie.
Joe, there's over 20 flavors.
Okay.
And there's different nicotine strengths.
You know what? Perfect.
Switch on to Views. Visit the Switch On tab on views.com to play our game, and you could win a free device.
Exciting news. Boxberg's Metro Lifestyle Fabric and Home Store is on the move. We need your help to clear our stock. Get ready for a 30-day clearance sale with giant discounts across all Metro Lifestyle and Home stores. Refurbish your home at a fraction of the cost with fabrics, curtains, lighting, furniture, linen, carpets, and appliances, all at excitingly low prices. Don't miss out on this opportunity to upgrade your home. Find out more at metrolifestyle.co.za or call 08611 Metro. That's 08611 63876. T's and C's apply.
947.
In my business, I was always told, look before you leap. I'm more like leap before you look. Because if you spend too much time looking, you'll end up not leaping, and besides, the vantage point from the air is much better. So leap, man, leap.
Become a Sage customer like Miles and set up your business to fly with our helpful accounting, HR, and payroll tools. Visit sage.com today. Sage, helping business flow.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Join Deloka in Ireland, in Dublin. Arsenal were leading not only alphabetically, but they were leading in terms of the position that they were holding. How strong are they mentally to hold on, not to anticipate, and not to look at the opposition and say they play against Southampton, then the next thing they are trading the game, playing catch up.
The mental aspect is massive, and I think one of the aspects that you've got to look at here is how many of these Arsenal players are individuals that have played in teams that have become champions over and over again. And you're looking at very few. I mean, even the stars of the show are in their early 20s. I mean, Bukayo Saka is barely beyond his 21st birthday. There does seem to be a great lack of experience, and it is a very youthful side. And with that youth, Arsenal are making some hugely damaging mistakes in the closing stages of their season.
#MSW. #MSW. Marawa Sports Worldwide. This is 947. Music live. #MSW.
Yeah, it's #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide live at 947. Also live on Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live, interactive, taking your WhatsApp voice notes. Any questions or comments, feel free to send them through to us. Coach Gavin Hunt is our guest. Looking at our YouTube feed, a couple of questions that are being posed over there. Thank you so much, Melvin Lipale. There's also Walnut says, can you please ask Mr. Gavin, how does he feel about his daughter being in the coaching field? I mean, she was here just the other day on the show. Maybe a word from Daddy, just to...
Well, it was both of them. I got two.
Yes.
The one won the tournament down in Cape Town, the Grassy Park.
Yes, I saw that.
She was involved in the coaching there. Oh.
But they're winners, though. I know it's strange for you to say, hey, how do you follow
They've both done their,
steps?
they're doing their licenses now. They're going through the courses and, look, I mean, it's... to be fair, when we see each other, we talk football, and they talk a lot of sense. Actually, I think more than me.
Yeah.
So they listen. They've grown up in the game. They know the game. They've watched more football than anybody. So they're big. They're obviously big in hockey and tennis, and they do that type of.
Yeah.
But the football is where their space is, and they're really enjoying it now. So may long and continue. I think the women's game is growing. Yeah. I think there's huge opportunities for decent coaches and. May long continue. Let's see. Maybe they can look after me now.
And it close to retiring, trust me.
I just said to them, you know this business, So they know the business. So, but it's good. I mean, and I've actually been down to a lot of sessions and I've watched them and I don't say too much. And obviously they ask my opinion. I give them opinion what I think they should be doing and what not doing, because it's different sometimes handling a group of players. It's all good, well, say you're doing your coaching, but when you get 20 players and you've got to put on sessions and progress it and make sure that the things are flowing, that it's different, So, no, they'll learn.
Yeah, trying to get people's attention and knowing that not everybody is there for you is also a problem.
Yeah, and get people to play together. And there's a lot that goes on besides just being a student of the game and studying it. It's about putting teams together and make sure this team can play and play to and see that there's a bit of what you've been doing Monday to Friday comes out on a Saturday.
All right, more questions coming through on the YouTube channel. This is from Matsatsantsa, says, as an Orlando Pirates supporter, I think if we want to win a league, we must hire Gavin Hunt. Please don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with our current coach. I think similar things were said about Chiefs. We know how that panned out in the end. So when you hear that about another big team like Orlando Pirates, here's a fan here. Matsatsantsa says,
listen, they've done great this year. He's won a trophy. They could win another one, obviously between us and them are challenging and Chiefs for the second spot. So, I mean, he's certainly come in there. They've got a new group of players by the looks of things, and they've done really, really well. So, I think certainly what we need to do as the rest of us is obviously try and get a little bit closer and challenge and make the league go down a little bit long, take it a little bit to the last couple of games, like it used to be. I thought the teams are much more even in my time, but obviously now, certainly Sundowns have been brilliant in the last couple of years.
It's exactly what Nkosi Makama also on YouTube is asking. He says, will the chasing pack close the gap next season?
Well, what we've got to try and do is, sometimes and I think financially that's where the problem is, isn't it? I mean, the bottom line, they've got certainly a good crop of players and I wouldn't want to know what the wage bill is there compared to ours. But what they've done, they've bought certainly a lot of good players, and there's not many around that can fill the other teams, and that's where the problem comes in. So what we've got to try and do is build from the bottom up, try and get younger players through, and give them a chance. And like we did this year with, we got certainly 3 or 4 in our team that have come through. That'll stand the club in good stead going forward, and that's what we have to do to make our team stronger.
And obviously, the more you fight to be number 2, the closer you get to, representing within CAF.
Well, that'll give another problem because
that's what I'm asking. Is that something you desire?
We might have to register some of our staff members to play. We don't have enough players. So, I mean, you look at Maruma Gallants this year. Unbelievable what they've done. I mean, they've been under the radar and they're really, and they play the same 11 or 12 every week. And they're getting, they've done unbelievably well. Yeah. And you've got to commend Dylan since he's been in there,
No, he's changed it.
They've come good, and yesterday it was a penalty, shame, but they had so many chances. They could have won it 2-3-1 there, but I think they can beat and go through the next round.
No, they can. I really think
got a
the
great
momentum's
chance
there. I mean, you know,
you just don't want to be in the staff, get left in Libya. Jeez, poor two guys that got left there for 2-3 weeks, when they. Jeez, like
hey, being held hostage, man.
Hey. Shame, I felt for them. How are you gonna? But the guy kept on saying they're giving them the suite. They got food.
No, they got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and they got Wi-Fi. Yeah, they had. I think they had the same tracksuit for 2 weeks as well, didn't they? Yeah.
You weren't buying them clothes, that's for sure.
Shame, eh?
Oh, madness. But yeah, I fully agree with you in terms of what Roma Gallants have done. Given where they are, 13th on the table.
You look at Supersport a couple of years ago, they got in the final, and it affected them the next year. They almost got relegated, I think, if I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
They got out of it the last game or two, so we got to be very careful if those things happen. But let's get there first. Let's try and play these next 3-4 games, see where we end up, and we'll go from there.
It'll be a good challenge, though.
Yeah. No, I want to be in that space. I was there. I got to the semi-final.
Hey, Kaizer Chiefs, man, you were there.
I was semi-final. Yeah, let's not go there. I was semi-final. We went through all those qualifying games, went through the group stages, got there, and then we had a great. And then obviously, how you feeling go by, and then they got to the final, and it was something that I was really all these years I've been, and I was so close, and it's one of those things.
People took a decision, and again,
I would love to. I can, we can do it again.
Yeah.
If I could just get a chance, you just want to do it again. You can do it again. I know.
Well, you're a trophy man. When there's a trophy, like a Jose Mourinho, you saw him on Thursday with Roma, and how Roma performed despite being.
And Roma,
down,
if you look at Roma, they're a poor team.
They are a poor team with many good players that are out.
I'd rather have Smalling than Maguire, wouldn't you?
Maguire, my goodness.
But they got rid of Smalling. He's been brilliant.
And he spent anyone they get brilliant.
They sold him for 15 million, bought him for 90 million. Maguire. I mean, that's good business, isn't it? Jeez,
and look at where they are.
And he's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But when you look at the state of the PSL, I mean, how long will it take for the 15 teams to close the gap on Sundowns? I mean, winning it 7 times in a row. You used to winning it back to back to back at Supersport United on 3 occasions. Winning it at Bidvest Wits for the first time in 99 years, etc. So the records are there. But all we're saying is that, money aside, Sundowns are building something really incredible, whether it's about the depth of the technical team and who they hire in that technical team, or what they do with their juniors and how they scout for their players. Everything seems to be working, and yet some of the other clubs, they use the whole thing. They don't have enough money. They're not well budgeted. The money that comes through from the TV rights, etc., is not enough. But is it about that? When you see a team like Dondal Stars, they come into Nedbank and almost Dondal everybody, and they Dondal.
Yeah, they Dondal us. Yeah. But I think if Dondal Stars played in the league,
different story.
Yeah, different story. Yeah. So I think the secret is not about when you play against Sundowns. I think the secret is that when you play the teams down the bottom, who all have at the bottom at that time of the year, that's where teams like us, like we haven't beaten Swallows this year. I'm not saying they. So I think it's about beating the teams down the bottom and around, those areas which Sundowns do well every year, where the clubs like we haven't beaten them, and those clubs are sort of beating us. So that's where the difference, and that's where the points come in. And when you play Sundowns and these type of teams, it's an even game. I mean, we won this year, we beat them, and they beat us. So I mean, you can't judge your season on that and say, oh, look where we are. No, it doesn't work like that. You've got to be a little bit more consistent, and you've got to be winning those games when you play certainly the bottom half of the league, teams. And that's what we haven't this year. We haven't done great in those situations,
No, but it's always tough, though, when you look at even a Sekhukhune United getting the double over Kaizer Chiefs, and it's always that unfancy
But
team.
where are they in the league? Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
but also, when you talk about it, always reminds me of what Pep Guardiola would talk about, is saying, never underestimate going to Stoke City. Because that's where you're going to come undone. You look at Arsenal, almost undone by Southampton.
And I also think, if you look at the PSL squads, all the squads, they've got a good sort of core 8-9 players. There's maybe 25 players.
Yeah.
But when you start losing 1 or 2 of your core players, that's where the problem comes in. You could play, and to keep them is very difficult because of the bookings, and you get an injury here, and you lose a combination. Yeah, where the bigger team like Sundowns, that's the flagship. We got they can make changes, and you say, well, he's actually better than the one who's been playing.
That's crazy.
So where we come along, we've got to have a problem. We say, like, we lost our defense a lot this year. And you sort of, taking a midfield player, playing him at the back, and because it's a problem. So that's where I think the difference is. But you don't want to carry extra players. That's the other side of the coin.
Because you're carrying unhappy people.
Well, it's okay when you're winning.
Yeah.
You don't win a few games and there's a few grumblings. So tighter, smaller, but you also got to have. Where the secret I had in Supersport before that, I had a lot of versatility.
Yeah.
Like you had a Tabo September could play 4 positions. So, and whenever you play, I'll never forget, we played Pirates once, 3 times in a week. Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. And he played right back, centre and centre midfield. Man of the match, man of the match, man of the match. Because we never had anybody we had playing. Do you understand? So,
crazy.
I'll just give you an example like that.
Yeah.
And Dane could play here and play there and whatever we had, So that's what I've done a little bit this year. We've had 1 or 2 that can do that, So we need to get that right.
All right, let's hear what the people say.
Hi, Robbie. Uchiko Mdeni. Hi, Rob, you've got the legendary Gavin Hunt there. Quick one. Does he have aspirations to emulate his success with Kaizer Chiefs of the Champions League with his current Supersport team? I see he's pushing for that second spot to play in the Champions League. But also, I'm looking at composition of his team. Is he looking at bringing someone like Andy Lechali, considering that a player like Magaman is on loan, a player like Undlov is on loan? I know I might be pushing it too early, but maybe he might just be caged on this one. I'll listen on the radio. I thank you, Chico.
Chico, thank you so much indeed.
Hi, Robert. It's A.B. Moloi from Naturena. Let's ask Coach Gavin, when he was coaching Kaizer Chiefs, was he giving the players that he wanted, or somebody bought the players and was asked to perform miracles with, players that are not going to play his type of football? Thank you.
Okay, Barry White.
Evening, Rob. Scarabo here. May you please ask Gavin Hunt, player of the season, which player does he think he deserves it? And again, ask what his thought on recent Kaizer Chiefs coach Arthur Zwana. I know that he's just an honest coach, and I think he will give us his thoughts. I just want to know, because I think for me, Arthur Zwana is clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. Tactics wrong. Everything is wrong. The substitutions wrong. Team selection wrong. No plan B. I don't know. He doesn't know what he's doing. So maybe his thoughts on that.
Sure, explosive. Hey, right at the end of the show, you come up with all of these questions. Which one do you pick up on, Gav?
Barry White.
Sure, you're right.
Sure, you're right.
Andy Lechali, consideration?
Well, he'll have to sell off the team to pay his wages.
Is it that bad, even at this age?
Well, I think Rob, what we needed a little bit in South Africa, a little bit of transparency with things like that.
But they never tell us what the players are.
Because then
everywhere else they do.
Yeah, so it's very difficult for us to. Would I like him? Of course, I would love him. Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but there's a great relationship between Sundowns and Supersport United. Supersport.
Sure,
we've seen the duplication.
There's great relation. There's no problems with that. But obviously, there's demands of a player, what he wants to earn and what he doesn't want to earn, and there's agents and things like that. It's like people criticize you. Oh, you got rid of this player, or you sold this player, buy this player, you must do this. I mean, I hear this all the time, and you feel sorry for the coaches at these bigger clubs because they get bombarded. Why are you not buying this player? But you know what the player earns.
But what if you get into one of these agreements, which is a case of you still have a contract at Sundowns, but we're going to give you more game time at Supersport United, so Sundowns still carry the paycheck.
Rob, how long have you been in football, Rob?
You say it's not going to happen.
Those things don't happen like that. And sometimes it happens to a player. I'm not saying the one we're talking about. It happened to other players where it's like a coach. I think sometimes you can't earn more, you have to earn less, it's like a player, you can't, and players keep moving, and I understand it, it's a short career, we all in this business, but sometimes, any player, sometimes you have to take less to go forward again, so, just, I'd love to have players like that.
All right, there are lots of other questions, but simply because of time, we're not going to be able to finish them off. But I hope you do come back. We'll plug in for an hour. We were just, as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, looking at the state of the team, where you're number 2. You keep changing positions with the Orlando Pirates, which is very good for the game, Gavin. But best of luck for what remains of the season.
Thanks,
and hopefully we'll be back here to unpack the season proper and see what it is that we can do. And having moved out of Lucas Moripe Stadium to TUT, is that a better ground? Is that... I don't know. Gavin Hunt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rob. Have a nice evening.
Appreciate it, man.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.